Okay, now the other big area I want to touch on is business email compromise. This is a huge moneymaker for the bad guys. So business email compromise is an actual email I got asking me to wire funds. And I'll tell you, I was in the process while getting this about talking to another summit similar to this, and I was tempted to do it just because you get the email, you're doing 12 things at once, and I was almost going to wire the funds. And then I had to remind myself, wait, I teach people not to do that. So I had to stop myself. But you're multitasking, you're doing so many things. This email came from someone I trusted. The context made sense. Problem is, it gets everyone, or a lot of people. $3.1 billion last year. $3.1 billion. Average losses, $25,000 to $75,000. That is not a small amount of money. Some of these losses, look at this, 17 million, 46 million. And people say, how stupid are these companies? Some of these are sophisticated over many, many months. So for example, Ubiquiti, it was over a 6-month period or so. Their stock value actually went down when this got found out that their accounting department was just wiring funds based on what they thought was emails from an executive that had set up a new deal overseas. Guess what? No deal. The money was gone. So business email compromise. This one's a little bit more tricky, meaning mitigation tactics for this. A lot of the same stuff. So number one is white hat social engineering. You need to get people to pay attention to emails and be cynical about them. But human processes are the answer. The bad guys are counting on the fact that we are going to become tech junkies and never want to talk to anyone, and just everything's done via email. Email cannot be used to do some critical processes. And the way you prevent this is you train your staff on your processes. And that means it doesn't matter if the email is coming from a CEO or an executive or a CFO or what. You have to assume that this may not be them. It is so easy to get into someone's email account. But if we get into your email, it's not an inconsequential thing. We get to pretend like you. I can probably email your office and say, I'm going to fire someone. And they might be a little bit thrown off initially, but they're going to believe it's coming from you. Because by the way, I get to see your other sent items, so I get to see that you call him Bobby, and I can pretend like it's you. So it's important to make sure that human processes are in place. You may have 5 multi-factor tokens, but you need to be, you can have somebody use all those multi-factor tokens on your behalf with a well-crafted email. So it's important that the human processes are there. There's some other email authenticity validation. So for example, a lot of you may not have gotten that LinkedIn invite because linkedin.com, that domain doesn't actually even exist. And if you have a good email filter, it should stop that from going through. Now, with our clients, when we're constantly testing them, we make sure that they whitelist us so we can always send these bogus emails in. But hopefully, those sort of emails can get blocked if you have this sort of stuff set up properly. Multi-factor for email, that's a little bit overkill for a lot of people. A lot of people don't feel comfortable with that, and that's basically every time you log in to check your email, you're prompted to have another multi-factor token. But human processes, it's free. And by the way, remember, all of this stuff here, these are all free. Removing administrative rights, principal of least privilege, patch management, password policy. They don't have to be expensive. It's just a matter of knowing. Now, some of the things cost money. If you want an internet content filter, you need to pay somebody for it. Now, these don't cost a lot. They cost as little as like $1 per user per month or $2 per user per month. But you need to have them in place.